Welcome back to another episode of Game vs. Game. Today we are traveling to Japan. I mean, not physically to Japan, but with imagination.
Make two, my friends. I have a low budget.
So the two board games I'm talking about today are all about ninjas, katanas, samurais, shurikens, and so on and so forth. Because I am talking about
Goryo
versus
Kodachi.
Don't judge me. I had to do this.
Goryo is a two-player game in which you may take the role of the Goryeo, a cat-like spiteful spirit who's sworn vengeance to a nobleman, or command a team of 4 samurais to protect the objects of the castle. After choosing your side, place the board and all the room tiles with a colored face-up on it. Place the object tiles on their designated spaces with a dark border face-up. Put 4 broken object stones in the relative tracker and leave the 5th aside for the moment. Put all the round object tokens in the bag. The Goryeo player takes its personal board, the marker, the 7 cubes divided into 4 movement cubes, 1 target cube, 1 false trail cube, and 1 leap cube, and puts everything behind the Goryeo screen. Then he draws an object from the bag secretly and puts it under the Goryeo mark token behind the screen. That object is the bound object. The samurai player takes the samurai board, the red and green clue tokens, the action indicators, and the spirit tokens. He puts 1 green clue token in the first space of the spirit tracker, and the 3 spirit tokens face down on each of the corresponding space on the samurai board. Then he places his 4 samurai on the central tile of each of the 4 rooms. The Goryeo player then draws another round object from the bag, and this time reveals it. He chooses any room tile on the board with that object and breaks it by placing the 5th stone. The Goryeo player will put his Goryeo pawn in that space. It will be his starting tile. Don't forget to flip the corresponding object to the broken side. The game can now start. Each round is made of 3 phases. In the first phase, the Goryeo player plans a secret route with the cubes to break an object, following these rules. The first movement cube must be placed in the same space of the Goryeo pawn on the board. Each of the other 3 movement cubes must be placed orthogonally to the previous one, including the target cube, which is placed last. The target cube can't be placed on a space with a broken, sealed, or bound object. The bound object is the secret object that the Goryeo player has to protect and must never reveal or break. The Goryeo may take advantage of a couple of powers. The grey leap cube, that can be placed as an additional movement cube and then discarded, and a false trail cube. This green cube can be placed next to any previously placed movement cube. If the samurai player investigates the space containing the false trail cube, the Goryeo player will tell him that space is part of the Goryeo route. The green cube is then discarded. If the samurai player doesn't investigate that space, the Goryeo player may save the false trail cube and play it again in another round. In the second phase, the samurai player has to find out what the Goryo's plans are. To do this, he activates 3 of the 4 samurais in the map. Each of the samurais may perform 2 of the 3 actions available. The step makes a samurai move orthogonally in an adjacent space. This action may be used twice. The search is used for investigation. The samurai player asks the Goryeo if the space he's in is part of the Goryeo route. If the answer is yes, the samurai player places a green clue token on that space. Otherwise, he places a red clue token. The hound allows the samurai to investigate on 1 tile next to him. The third phase is the reveal phase. The Goryeo player moves the screen in order to show his route to the samurai player. For any placement mistake by the Goryeo, the samurai flips a spirit token on his board face up. The Goryeo player takes the broken object stone of the current round and his pawn, and places them on the space of his target cube. The Goryeo marks the space of the broken object on his board with a cross. Then he flips the corresponding tile of the broken object to the broken side. The samurai player then takes back all the green clues from the main board and advances the tracker on his board a number of spaces equal to the green tokens removed. If 1 or more samurais are in the same space of the Goryeo, the samurai player flips an equal number of spirit tokens in his board, from left to right. Each time a bag symbol is reached in this way, the samurai player draws and reveals an equal number of object tokens from the bag. Those objects are now sealed. The samurai player places the round tokens with the sealed side face up on the respective object tokens. Then he flips all the respective tokens in the 4 rooms on the sealed side, and the Goryo player marks them in his board with a circle. At the end of the round, both players remove the cubes from the respective boards, and the Goryo places his screen in front of his board. The game ends when one of these conditions is met. The Goryo can place the target cube anywhere on the map. A bound object is broken. All of the 3 spirit tokens on the samurai board are flipped. All of the object tiles except one are flipped to the bright side or sealed. In all of these 4 cases, the samurai player wins the game. Instead, when the last broken object stone is placed on the board, the Goryo player wins the game. In Kodachi, 2 to 4 players compete to become the strongest ninja of the realm. This game is the card version of a previous board game called Ninjato. Each player takes a set of 12 cards, 10 dojo cards and 2 skill cards, and shuffles them, then draws 6 cards. The quietest player receives the shuriken, while the other players get a face-up brown guard, each one with a different symbol. Shuffle the brown guards and red guards together into a single guard deck. Do the same by shuffling the envoy, rumor and skill orange cards into the house deck and place it over the guard deck. Last, place the 3 stacks of clan tokens nearby, with the values shown in increasing order. Every turn in Kodachi consists of 2 phases, invading the house and taking cards. First, you invade the house by drawing and placing face up the top cards from the house and the guard deck. After seeing both cards, declare if you're invading by stealth or strength. When you invade by stealth, you must fight all the guards of that round by playing a dojo card that has a lower value than theirs. On the contrary, when you invade by strength, you must play cards with a higher value than the guards. Keep in mind that ties do not win. Then play the dojo card to defeat the guard the way you've chosen. In this phase, you may play optional skill cards from your hand. These cards have special effects shown by the icons on the top left. When a skill card shows more than a symbol, resolve all of them from the top to the bottom. Rumor and envoy cards can be played as dojo cards to invade the house, but only envoy cards may grant you a clan token as a bonus when played. The clan tokens are worth victory points at the end of the game. The elite red guards are more difficult to beat than the brown guards, so be careful with your planning. Some of them may show 2 values, a lower one for the stealth and a higher one for the strength, and other cards may contain 2 guards. In this case, both must be defeated. Every time you defeat a guard, you must decide if you want to keep on invading the house or to stop. If you go on, draw another card from the house and the guard decks, and repeat this process with your remaining cards. If you decide to continue but you can't defeat the next guard in any way, your invasion fails and your turn ends immediately. In addition to your defeat, you won't take any cards from the house cards row, while your opponents will. In fact, if you end your invasion successfully, you may take cards from both rows. The number of cards you may take depends on the number of guards defeated. 1 or 2 guards defeated grant 1 card, 3 guards grant 2 cards, 4 guards grant 3 cards, and so on. The defeated cards are always free. When taken, place them face up in front of you. Guard cards become resources which may be spent to purchase house cards. To take a house card, you must pay its treasure cost indicated on the bottom. Treasure cards used in this way are put in the discard pile, while house cards purchased go immediately in your hand. After your purchase, all other players have the chance to take 1 card too, whether it's a guard or a house card. When the turn's over, move any remaining card in rows into a discard pile. Then draw and fill your hand to 6 cards from your deck. If you run out of cards, reshuffle your discard pile and then draw. Remember that you can keep no more than 4 treasures in front of you, so discard those in excess. Pass the shuriken to the next player, and in case the 2 decks have run out of cards, reshuffle their discard pile into a new deck. When a player gains his 4th clan token or the last token remaining, A last round is played by all the other players. After this, players total up the points of their cards and tokens. Every envoy, skill, and rumor card score points in different ways, and each unspent treasure card is worth 1 point. The player with the most points is the winner. Ties are resolved by the most envoys and then the most points in the clan tokens.
If you made it through these 2 tutorials, congratulations my meeplings! I now proclaim you samurai knights and protector of the castle. Or ninjas or spirit animals, you choose. On a serious note, I really like these games and I am fairly confident that you will like them too after a couple of rounds. Last but not least, I wanted to thank Gateongames and Fever Games for letting me put my hands on these 2 gems. What else? Get these 2 games ASAP and sayonara to the next episode, my friends.